You think she's yours because she says she loves you, because she shows care, because she shares photos of you both with sweet captions. Maybe she cried in your arms once and told you she couldn't imagine losing you. But here's a truth that many overlook: she's not a possession. No one is. It's not about ownership. It's about alignment in a moment of time. And the moment you forget that, the moment you believe someone's loyalty or affection is permanent just because of how they feel now, you risk building your identity on a fragile foundation, because people change. Feelings evolve, and in many cases, what someone offers you now is not a lifetime promise. It's a reflection of their current emotional space. One day she laughs at your jokes, the next, she grows distant, and you're left wondering what went wrong. But it's not betrayal. It's human nature. Emotions aren't static, and relationships aren't built on guarantees. They're built on connection, relevance, and mutual growth. In this video, we're going to dismantle the fantasy of emotional permanence and talk about something real: how to stay grounded as a man in a world of shifting emotions. So let's begin. First, understand this: she's connected to the moment, not the man. Just because she sleeps in your bed, calls you hers, or holds your hand, doesn't mean she belongs to you. What she's attached to is the version of you that resonates with her now. Her loyalty isn't written in stone, it's written in the energy you bring, and that energy needs to grow, to adapt, to remain relevant to who she's becoming, because female desire, like anyone's desire, is not governed purely by logic or duty. It's rooted in feeling, and feelings change. You might be her safe space one month and feel like a stranger the next, not because you did anything wrong, but because her emotional needs shifted and you didn't shift with them. Most men confuse passion with permanence. They believe that deep connection today equals certainty tomorrow. But emotions don't work like that. If your energy no longer aligns with her evolving self, she may distance herself mentally first, then emotionally, and finally physically. And you're left holding onto a memory, not a person. This is why breakups often feel like identity loss. You're not just grieving her, you're grieving the man you were when she was drawn to you. That version of you that felt wanted, needed, understood, and it hurts. But it's not a loss of ownership. It's the end of a chapter that was only ever meant to last as long as you both remained aligned. So here's the truth: you must accept you never owned her. She was never yours. You were connected for a time, and your role now is not to blame her, but to grow from it, because the game isn't about holding on. It's about becoming a man who doesn't depend on someone else's presence to feel whole. It's about evolving, just like she does. When that spark faded, so did the bond. So what do? You stop clinging. You stop trying to possess what was never yours to begin with. You stop needing promises of forever. Instead, you become the moment. You embody the kind of man who evolves constantly, who never gets stagnant. So her desire isn't chasing routine, it's chasing growth. And when you're always becoming, she has to keep discovering you, because the moment you think you've got her, you start to lose her. By the way, if you want to understand modern attraction and masculine self-mastery on a deeper level, I've put together a free guide. It breaks down the psychology behind how connection really works and what most men overlook. The link is in the description and pinned comment. Grab it before it's gone. Now, let's talk about the next truth: she was never without options. You were just her favorite one. For a time. Let that sink in. You weren't her only choice. You were just the most exciting one in that chapter. And if that truth stings, it should, because it means you've been living in a comfort zone instead of reality. Every woman, no matter how loyal, has options, visible or invisible. Some speak up, others wait silently in the background. Friends, co-workers, exes who still linger in the shadows, all standing by for their moment. And even when she says, "You're the only one I want," remember, that's true for now, as long as you're showing up with energy, presence, and leadership. But the moment you stop, when you become predictable, when your edge fades, someone else starts coming into focus. It doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual, slower replies, less engagement, subtle distance. Then she says she needs space, or she's focusing on herself, but emotionally she's already turning elsewhere, toward someone who makes her feel alive again. Someone who's just mysterious enough, just out of reach. The man who makes her wonder where she stands. That's the emotional pull. Not logic, not routine. Emotion. Women don't leave all at once. They drift. They detach emotionally long before they move physically. And if you're not paying attention, you'll be left stunned, wondering what went wrong. The answer: nothing, except this: you forgot she had choices, and you stopped being the best one. You gave too much of yourself too quickly. You stopped protecting your time, your energy, your identity. You made her the center of your world, and in doing so, you lost the edge that attracted her in the first place. Because the man who keeps something for himself, the man who maintains his purpose, his presence, his independence, that's the man she remembers. Even if she walks away, she never forgets him. So stop believing you're her only path. You're not, you never were. You were just a spark that lit something powerful until you stopped burning, and when that happened, she turned toward the next flame. It's not cold, it's not betrayal, it's life. It's how emotional alignment works. Here's the third truth. If you believe you own her, you'll destroy yourself. Possession, that's the illusion. You hold her hand, she calls you baby, she introduces you to her parents, and your mind tells you, she's mine. You start to believe you earned her permanently, that she can't leave. But here's what most men never realize. The moment you think she belongs to you, you start becoming the man she can no longer feel drawn to, because ownership creates entitlement. And entitlement kills attraction, and entitlement kills the very energy that created the attraction in the first place. The moment you start thinking she's yours, you stop sharpening yourself. You stop leading, you stop paying attention. You assume, you expect. You get comfortable, and comfort, unchecked, is where masculinity begins to fade. It's where polarity dies. It's where passion turns to routine. But here's what most men don't realize. She doesn't want to be owned. She wants to be chosen again and again. Chosen by a man who keeps evolving, keeps rising, keeps showing up with purpose. The moment you treat her like a prize you've already won, you stop earning her. And when that effort disappears, the connection begins to dissolve quietly, slowly, then all at once. And when she walks away, it'll feel like betrayal. You'll want to hold on, make her understand, bring her back. But here's the truth, she wasn't yours. She was present for a season, a chapter. And instead of facing that with strength, many men panic, they beg, they spiral. And in doing so, they lose the very presence that once made them attractive. Because the more you cling, the more you lose your center. And here's the truth. Attraction doesn't chase desperation. It follows strength. What you must understand is this: you cannot own a woman. You can only invite her into your life, into your frame. And she will stay as long as that frame is solid. If your identity cracks under pressure, if your values shift to please, if your confidence erodes, she will drift. Not because she's cruel, but because people are drawn to strength, not to collapse. And if your entire identity was built around having her, you'll fall apart. But if your identity is built on purpose, on discipline, on who you are beyond the relationship, then her presence is just that, a presence, not a requirement, not a lifeline. So when she leaves, you don't crumble, you rise, you learn, you level up, not because you're bitter, but because you've accepted what most men never do. She was never a guarantee. It was your turn for a time, and now it's time to become even better. Because the men she never forgets aren't the ones who cling, they're the ones who can say goodbye without flinching, the ones who walk forward without begging, blaming, or breaking. Now it's clear it was never about forever. It was about alignment, about the energy you carried, the presence you brought, the version of you she once connected with. Not about trying to freeze her in time, not about locking her down, but about evolving alongside her or letting go when that alignment fades. She didn't betray you. She changed, she evolved, and you mistook time for truth. You tried to hold on to a feeling, but she was searching for fire. You gave her comfort and she needed intensity. You tried to make her stay and she was already drifting, and now you have a choice. Hold on to the illusion or become the man who no longer needs it. Because when you detach from needing control, when you release the fear of loss, you gain something deeper, freedom. And in that freedom, you become what few ever achieve: a man she respects, even when he's gone. Not because you manipulated her, not because you chased, but because you walked with purpose. You stayed grounded and you understood no one belongs to you, but everything you become that stays with you forever. If you've ever felt her fade while you held on tighter, comment, "I understand now." Let's see how many men are finally waking up today.